Title: Bouncing Balls 3 to 5 years. The Count Play Explore logo appears in the lower right, with the words Count Play Explore for early education. As Maritza Ceballos, pre-K educator, speaks, video clips show her interacting with children playing outside, bouncing different-sized balls. There are strips of tape at different heights on the wall that children can compare to how high their ball bounces.
At first, they're all excited to play with different kinds of balls, bounce different kinds of balls. And so I kind of let them explore on their own to kind of see what they were able to do or understand the concept of how high, how low, how hard, how soft they could bounce the ball.
While Maritza continues to speak, video clips show Maritza gathering the children together into a small group.
So then when I was able to bring all the children back together as a group, then I was able to select those 3 balls that I noticed that they were using more while playing freely, and really ask them more questions about why they thought those balls bounce high, why they thought it bounced low, or notice the characteristics of the balls. Were they the same? Were they different?
While Maritza continues to speak, a photo of the variety of balls is displayed.
Did they feel the same? Did they weigh the same? And just really focus on 3 instead of the whole selection of balls that we had.
Maritza sits down in a circle with the children and 3 balls. She points at each of the 3 balls.
Out of these 3, 1, 2, 3, which one bounced the highest?
Children point at different balls. Maritza holds up the small blue ball.
Elian says this one.
2 children point at the 3rd ball.
This one.
Maritza holds up the orange and white basketball.
Charlie says the basketball.
2 children point at the 3rd ball.
This one. This one.
Maritza holds up the brown basketball.
SB and Audrey say the brown basketball.
A child raises her hand.
So, how about we test it out?
As Maritza speaks, video clips show her interacting with children who are bouncing the ball next to the wall to see which piece of tape it reaches.
So I added tape to the wall so that the children had a visual marker of where they predicted that the ball was going to bounce to. They were able to see, okay, I think it's going to bounce this high. Or, they would point with their finger to the higher tape and say, oh, I think it's going to bounce to the top one.
Maritza points to the orange and white basketball that a child is holding.
How high do you think this one's going to bounce?
Right there.
The child points to a tape strip on the wall.
Which one?
That small one.
That small one?
Maritza points to the highest tape strip.
You think it's going to bounce up here? Okay, go.
The child bounces that ball and it bounces to the 3rd tape strip down. Maritza points at that tape strip.
Oh, it bounced to this one.
Maritza then points at the highest tape strip, then the 3rd tape strip down.
Charlie thought it was going to go up here. It went here.
Maritza points to the blue ball that a child is holding.
How high do you think the blue one's going to bounce?
It's gonna bounce lower.
Maritza and the child point to the highest tape strip.
You think it's going to bounce here? All right, go. Whoa, did it go to the blue?
Yeah.
Maritza points to the highest tape strip. The child jumps up and down in excitement.
Did it go to the tape? Yeah. That one.
Maritza points again to the highest tape strip.
Did bounce to the top tape. Why do you think that happened? Because it has air inside? Okay.
Maritza points to the orange and white basketball.
But this one has air too.
The child rubs the blue ball. Another child bounces the orange and white basketball.
Yeah, and this one's so.
Maritza picks up the orange and white basketball and lifts it up and down.
Do they weigh the same?
The child rubs the blue ball. Another child bounces the orange and white basketball.
So the children had different ideas of why they thought that the balls were bouncing high or low. A couple of the children started realizing, oh, there's air inside of the balls. And they had that concept, okay, there's air inside of the balls, but how does it bounce?
Maritza speaks to the children and points at the brown basketball a child is holding.
So now let's test the brown one. Ariel, how high do you think the brown one's gonna bounce?
Maritza points at the 2nd piece of tape down on the wall.
This tape? Yeah. Okay, try it.
A child bounces the brown ball. Maritza points to the height on the wall where the brown basketball bounced.
Oh, okay. It reached like right about here.
Maritza points to the 2nd piece of tape strip down on the wall.
Did it reach the tape that you thought?
No.
No, why do you think?
What
do you think?
Maritza picks up the brown basketball.
Because it has texture? You think the texture made it slow down? I don't know. What do you think?
Because there's air inside.
The children gather around Maritza as she discusses the different balls. Maritza points at the brown basketball she is holding. then points to the orange and white basketball and then the blue ball.
There's air inside of this one too. So there's air inside of this one, inside of this basketball, and inside of the bouncy ball. All three of them have air, but why do you think some of them bounce higher?
Credits. A special thanks to the children, families, and staff of the Office of the Fresno County Superintendent of Schools Lighthouse for Children Child Development Center, without whose help these videos would not have been possible. The Count, Play, Explore logo appears in the lower right, with the words Count, Play, Explore for Early Education.